don't understand what destiny's planned. I'm starting to grasp what is in my own hands. I don't claim to know where my holiness goes. I just know that I like what is starting to show. Sometimes.
Greatest fraud of all. Not the greatest love of all. That is a Whitney Houston song. Beautiful. The greatest fraud of all time is science. Evolutionists say evolution is a fact. God is a myth. I have heard many scientists say that. It's their catchphrase. Private property. Keep out. This means you, God. See, God is a victim of bullying. He's not just the man who created the universe. He's someone who's getting shut out. He'd like to come in and have a warm plate of spaghetti with everyone else, but he has to stand outside and watch through the window. The message scientists are hoping for in their search for extraterrestrial intelligence might be false alarms, and these are not uncommon. Hoaxes, possible. The message they ignore from God's word, the Bible, does come from superhuman extraterrestrial intelligence, as cited in Isaiah 55:9. The message scientists are hoping for might end mankind's cosmic loneliness. The message they brazenly ignore from God's word, the Bible, is readily accessible to the human family, and we can read it right now and respond. Our messages are instantly received, so that settles that. The message scientists are hoping for in their search for extraterrestrial intelligence is based on speculation and assumption. The message they ignore from God's word, the Bible, is based on evidence and reason. Jehovah's Witnesses. Their calling card is evidence and reason. Parents' rights. As a doctor, I would like to express my feelings regarding the article, "Doctors Tried to Take Our Daughter Away," by saving her life. This article will serve only to aggravate mutual misunderstanding and cause confrontation. In some cases, blood is the only logical and appropriate therapy, and a doctor in France is morally and legally obliged to administer it. Witnesses should therefore not be offended if a doctor obtains a court order for blood treatment or chooses not to treat the patient at all. Doctors ask that Jehovah's Witnesses accept the consequences of their choice, that they not set themselves up as martyrs, but make their stand quite clear. For example, I refuse blood because I want to obey God's law, not because I am scared of AIDS or hepatitis. Doctors ask that they act in a consistent and responsible manner and not try to moralize. JLP, Medical Doctor, France. Jehovah's Witnesses are prepared to face the consequences of this religious stand. Nevertheless, it is well established that blood transfusion carry many lethal risks, and there are alternative medical ways of management that do not expose one to those risks. The parents thus felt that they had to take drastic action. The article also served to highlight that the biblical prohibition on ingesting blood is reasonable, even from a medical standpoint. Ed. Fraud in Science. Your article on scientific fraud, January 22nd, 1990, seems to slander almost all scientists. As a professional chemist, I am aware of and condemn fraud. But your article could be considered to be in part what you so vehemently condemn. Your first article contained no original text. Is this plagiarism? But combines select, in quotes, headlines. The second article makes no mention of the vast majority of scientists who do not commit fraud. Is this not propaganda? This type of reporting damages your credibility. WM, which stands for Will Beg for Mercy at Armageddon. We agree that the vast majority of scientists are honest. However, the damage done by a dishonest view is potentially so far-reaching that a condemnation of scientific fraud in the very strongest of terms was deemed appropriate. We also believe that the presenting of the theory of evolution as a fact constitutes a form of fraud of the highest degree, which is 10 degrees, which we measure in our own system. One in which the majority of scientific community has participated. Butthole. Ed. Capital E, capital D. Artificial intelligence, on par with the worm. Awake is published. Awake is for the enlightenment of the entire family. That includes you, Grandpapa. It shows how to cope with today's problems for the problematic person on the go. It reports the news, tells about people in many lands, examines religion and science, and sports with Dan Marino at 5. But it does more. It probes beneath the surface and points to the real meaning behind current events. Most importantly, this magazine builds confidence in the Creator's promise of a peaceful and secure new world before the generation that saw the events of 1914 passes away. To recap, you have the promise of a peaceful new world before the generation of 1914 passes away. Count on it. And count on Sports with Dan Marino at 5 and 9. No more additions! Exclamation point. At a Gilead graduation in 1970, Frederick Franz, then vice president, not president yet, of the Watchtower Society, told the students of the possibility that they, who were all of the other sheep with earthly hopes, might baptize someone who might claim to be of the anointed remnant. Could this happen? Well, he explained, that John the Baptist was of the other sheep, and he baptized Jesus and some of the apostles. Then he went on to ask whether there was still a call for gathering in more of that remnant. No! No more additions, he said. That call ended way back there in 1931 to 35. There are no more additions. Who, then, are the few newly associated ones who are partaking of the memorial emblems? If they are of the remnant, they are replacements. Like the movie starring Keanu Reeves. They are not addition to the ranks of the anointed, but are replacements for those who may have fallen away. There you have it. They're simply replacements for the thousands of anointed ones who keep getting disfellowshipped in their old age. People once understood that the first phase of the Great Tribulation began in 1914, and that the final part would come at the Battle of Armageddon. So we can understand why it was once thought that the latter-day disgusting thing must have stood in a holy place soon after World War I. However, in later years, we have come to see things differently. On Thursday, July 10, 1969, at the Peace on Earth International Assembly in New York City, F.W. Franz, then Vice President of the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, gave an electrifying talk. In reviewing the previous understanding of Jesus' prophecy, Brother Franz said, "The explanation was given that the Great Tribulation had begun in 1914 CE. And it was not allowed to run its full course, but God stopped it in World War I, November of 1918. From then on, God was allowing an rule from the activity of and the elect Christians before he let the final part of the Great Tribulation Armageddon." Then a significantly adjusted explanation was offered. To correspond with this event in the first century, the Great Tribulation did not begin in 1914. Rather, what took place in Jerusalem's modern antitype in 1914 was merely a beginning of a phase of distress. The Great Tribulation stretches for a lot of years yet ahead.
For it means the destruction of the world, including Christendom. Armageddon.
This meant that the entire Great Tribulation was yet ahead. No shit. This has a direct bearing on the discerning when the disgusting thing stands in a holy place. Accordingly, we expect the Great Tribulation to begin soon. And there you have it, friends. We have been offered a significantly adjusted explanation. So the Great Tribulation will begin soon.
Ashes go by, all the feelings inside twist and they turn as they ride with the tide. I don't advise and I don't criticize, I just know what I like with my own eyes. Sometimes what is starting to show.
Greatest fraud of all. Not the greatest love of all. That is a Whitney Houston song. Beautiful. The greatest fraud of all time is science. It's possible. The message they ignore from God's word, the Bible, does come from superhuman extraterrestrial intelligence, as cited in Isaiah 55:9. The message scientists are hoping for might end mankind's cosmic loneliness. The message they break. Evolutionists say evolution is a fact. God is a myth. I have heard many scientists say that. It's their catchphrase. Private property. Keep out. This means you, God. See, God is a victim of bullying.
I don't understand what destiny's planned. I'm starting to grasp what is in my own hands. I don't claim to know where my holiness goes. I just know that I like what...
It's not just the man who created the universe. He's someone who's getting shut out. He'd like to come in and have a warm plate of spaghetti with everyone else, but he has to stand outside and watch through the window. The message scientists are hoping for in their search for extraterrestrial intelligence might be false alarms, and these are not uncommon. Hoaxes.